The van needs brakes worked on, so I'm back here doing a little video in the garden. And here are these very good looking flat Dutch cabbage. And I planted these probably about the end of July in a little planter and put them moved them out here, and they're looking real good. This one here is getting a sizable head on it, and I hope it gets about 3 times the size of that so we can do something with it. These here are starting to form heads, and the good thing right now is there's no bugs on them. Haven't put any spray on them. Bug season's over, and cabbage do well when there's no bugs. They like cool weather, and that's what we've had. We've had above seasonal but cool in general, short sunlight hour days, but they're still thriving. Uh, I hope we get I hope all these have a decent sized cabbage before it gets way cold. They could slow down and go through the winter and start back up in the spring and keep growing the cabbage. It's an experiment. It's going to be interesting how it turns out. But this one, first one up here, definitely got a cabbage. It'll probably be harvested here before it gets way cold. But they can take 25 degrees, and it doesn't really phase cabbages hardly at all. So, but getting down to 15, it starts ruining the foliage. So it's going to be an interesting thing. And I was on these marigolds on the previous stream, and this plant's really looking good. I think I was doing a video last week, and there was a lot of buds, and I said it was going to bloom out good, and it's really took advantage of this late non-frost November. So those look great. And here's these potted tomatoes. There's a few left on them. Tomatoes are winding down. Last year, I had to pick my tomatoes on Halloween because it was going to be a hard freeze. And this year's totally different. And here's this other bush Goliath. Got one tomato. It's probably getting a little bigger all the time. It's trying to bloom again. You think it's going to have 3 weeks. It may, we may get 3 weeks, and there might be a little tomato on that one it's got to freeze eventually. And here we got some volunteer baby tomatoes. I might feel sorry for one of them and take it in the house, dig it up, put it in a pot, and take it in the house to grow all winter. I've done that before. I've grown a tomato, and I brought it out here in the spring, and it did real well. And here's more of those marigolds. They really look pretty. I'm glad I left them. They were from the neighbor's manure, chicken manure, and I put them around the corn, and they grew. How's this bumblebee doing? Are you alive, brother? Yeah, he's sleepy. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Well, I got a thumbs up at least. Any chats? And Crispy, oh, I can't even pronounce that. Crispy Hernandez says hi. Hey. And I'm looking at these peppers through the fence. I've done a couple of videos already, and I got interrupted with a phone call. And and here's these sweet potatoes that have crawled through the fence. I don't know if I'll just grab them here. They're not sending down runners, so I'm going to dig them this week. And I think I got everything up there. And then these caged tomatoes. Oop, there's one left there. And there's one there. They're really gone. They're really down to. And there's another ripe one on that. Not much left of them. They did pretty good this year, this group of tomatoes, amongst asparagus. Oh, I picked them. I had this plant. It's dead, and I picked the last 2 tomatoes off of it. I need to. Yeah, what's coming up is I gotta, and it takes quite a bit of work, is to unwind the garden and take all these things that are holding plants up and stuff, and the rocks and stuff around plants, and I got to take them up and take them out of the garden, and then I'll give the garden a good mowing. I'll add the neighbor's chicken manure and some mulch. See, there's some mulch right there from the yard, and I'll chop mulch or something and get that ground all good covered and get lots of decaying material on it and make it fertile for next spring. Okay, George. And nobody's watching. George? We know. And here is this volunteer tomato that came up with the squash. And the squash are long gone, and it's still there. There's, I think, about 1 or 2 left. Here's this other tomatillo. This one's got a pretty good sized fruit. I've been using them in the chili, throw them in the chili mainly. I just cut them a little bit and throw them in the pot, and they dissolve. Here's some more, another volunteer tomato. Owl George. And here's the best looking caged volunteer tomato plants. It was really pretty in this earlier in the year, and very productive. It had a lot of big tomatoes on it too. And these were growing out of a compost hill, and I brought them over and stuck them there, and it was very successful. And this marigold's really, this flower's been around for weeks, and it's really big, and then there's more flowers coming on it. That's a real nice plant. And there's about 5 buds. They'll be blooming here before frost. And here's this marigold I'm not giving much of a chance. It gets nearly no sunlight, but it's blooming out. Really pretty. Really nice. And I just left it there. It was volunteer, and I could have just easily hit it with a mower and got rid of it, but I left it to grow. And here we go. It's really nice. And I didn't have to I didn't have to do anything with it, just watch it grow. Okay, I think we're about done for this week. There's the cabbages again. If these work, it's going to be a routine of planting cabbages midsummer and having them grow through the fall. So that's going to be an interesting. And here's the rainwater that came off the house here. We had 3,500s, and it filled this wheelbarrow. So I'll have water here to put on what's left here for the during this week. And I don't have to water today because it rained yesterday and it's cool. So I'll skip watering, and I'll start watering tomorrow unless there's another rain coming. I haven't checked the forecast. And I'll look at these pineapples. I'm kind of debating on taking these inside. But as long as it's warm and sunny, I think it'll be fine. And this one here is the daddy to this one. This is the top. This is the top of a pineapple from this plant. And I cut the fruit off. And there was just a stub there. And it set up a little shoot on the side of the plant. And there it is. So, and this one here, it died. And pineapples are kind of finicky. Sometimes I'll stick one in the ground and it grows, and then sometimes it won't work. So if you're kind of on an experiment, you take a pineapple top, you stick in the ground, strip some leaves off of it, and keep it watered a little, and it may grow. I can't tell you what's the best method, but sometimes they grow. So, well, this is it. I mean, I'll go in and have some. I think there was a Bojangles run, so I'll go in the house and see if the Bojangles came back, and I'll have a biscuit. And I think I'm going to make some eggs from the neighbor's chickens and have breakfast. So thanks for watching. Well, I got one viewer that came on. Well, thanks for watching anyway. And I'll look out here next week in Jim Miller's garden. Thanks for watching.